Excuse me? Hello? Hello?
Hang on a second.
Hold on.
Start the show.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Take Two Radio. I'm Pam, your host, and I'm so very, very happy to have with me today as my special guest co-host, my good friend Mike Lidskin. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Pam, how are you doing?
I'm great. I had to think about that for a second. No.
I know. Well, we were just talking about that. We're both coming to the realization that it's fall and we're in very different parts of the country, and I was loving it, and I told you I was going to go apple picking up in the mountains today, and you had a choice response for me.
Yeah, go on your apple picking way, Mike. Yeah, that's you can, that's your bag, not mine. No.
Yeah.
Bag
I'll
them
make
apples.
you some applesauce or something.
Is that what you do? You guys, use them for cooking, like apple pies and applesauce and whatever you make out of apples?
Yeah, a little bit of that. It's funny because you don't think of that in California, but we're in Sacramento and we're right next to the foothills of the Sierra. So there's this place called Apple Hill, and there's a whole bunch of orchards up there. So this time of year, you just go up there and you pick them, and you can buy pies or apple fritters or whatever up there, or you can just bring a bushel home and cook them yourself. So it's kind of neat. It's not a thing that you think of very much in California. So we just relish our chance to savor fall.
Yeah, you think about that more like probably Washington as far as the West Coast is concerned. I mean, it's where a lot of apples come from, but not necessarily think about it from California. It would be more, to me, I would think about you guys picking oranges or, some kind of avocados or something like that. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
I've got an orange tree in my backyard, and I'll send you a picture of me next to it in December when they're ready.
Oh, okay, yeah. In December. That's good, Mike. Rub it in. Yeah, when we're in 16 feet of snow, but that's okay.
Oh, I know. And we have oranges up the yin-yang, yeah.
Is that when they bear fruit? Is do it like a couple times a year or just when they're ready?
That's when the navel oranges come out. We have navel oranges and tangerine tree too, and it seems to be a December, January thing for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if that's the case for all citrus, because there's citrus that grows year-round other places. I think Florida citrus might be a different story. But yeah, here I think you'll see the oranges on the trees in December, strangely enough.
Yeah, that is funny. But of course, it's, you guys are warmer than we are. So That's not unusual for you. I remember when I first went to California, I was 13 years old. My mom and my brother and my sister went out there and stayed by my aunt's house, and she had, oh my gosh, I don't know how many fruit trees out in her backyard, and we just had a grand old time picking it and eating it and all that stuff. And my aunt finally said, "You guys better slow down because that's going to be hitting you soon."
It's kind of neat.
Nothing like fresh fruit,
No, and we go out in the back and pick breakfast. I mean, that's pretty unique. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since I don't have any fruit trees. When we moved here to where I'm at now, there was a tree, but it was half dead, unfortunately, so we had to cut it down. But never thought about, planting another one, because by the time it got big enough to bear any fruit, I would be an old person. So
you could just go to the store.
So I'm not sure where our guest Planetary Blues are at yet. Someone had called in asking for Mike, but I'm not sure who that was. They hung up, and I didn't know if they meant you, Mike, or Mike from the band.
That's right. There is a Mike in the band. So, yeah. I'm guessing him, but we'll see in a few minutes. how many are we going to have with us today? How many of the members of the band?
I don't know. I know that when I posted it on their Facebook page, I believe it was Martin from the band said that he's taken the day off, and Sundays he doesn't talk, so it's all up to Michael to talk. So I know we're getting at least Michael. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Funny. Now, do you realize that if we took Sundays off from talking, we wouldn't have a show here?
I know, right? They'd be out of luck. They'd be out of luck. That's it. Yeah. And you do yours on Saturdays, and oh my gosh, so I have a full week ahead of me. I have this interview today on here. Monday, for my music show at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, I normally play Monday music with all the different indies, but I have so much going on that I had to rethink that and reprioritize, and I'm going to re-air an interview that I did a little bit earlier in the year with the Como Brothers. Their new album, Baby Steps, just came out, so I think it's a good time. And they're going to open for David Cook on October 25th in New York City. So I think that would help give them, a little bit extra promotion. And then Monday night, I'm speaking with James C. Burns again because he has just written a movie. And it's called Nam Zombies.
That sounds interesting. Sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, very interesting. It's in the Vietnam era, and he plays a master sergeant, and these guys are fighting against zombies. So we're going to find out more about that, and he's got a lot of other projects coming up. And that's at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Tuesday, I have on the show, I have to look, Hartley Sawyer. He's from The Young and the Restless and also from Glory Days. On Wednesday, during the day at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on my other show, I have an interview with World 5.
Now, who are they? I've not heard of them.
World 5, actually, their lead singer is a Grammy Award winner. His name is Pat Hunt.
Okay.
I'll have to send you information because I think you'd really like them and really, you'd probably even play their music on air on your show. And then Wednesday night, I have Janice Ian. Remember At 17?
No way.
That song?
You have Janice Ian?
I do. She's a Grammy Award winner and nominated. She was nominated 9 times. She has 2 Grammys. She's an author now. Her recent Grammy that she won this year, she beat out President Bill Clinton, First Lady Hillary Obama, Rachel Maddow, Ellen DeGeneres, and I want to say there's another person I can't think, but that she won against them for her spoken word audio book.
Wow.
And it's called Society's Child. So
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
and I first heard of her when
cannot wait.
I heard of her, of course, when I was a teenager, and she put out her song At 17. That was was the big memorable tune from my youth. And wow, that's amazing. She's legendary. You are so fortunate to get her on the show. I can't wait to hear it.
I know. It'll be Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. So that's what time for you guys? 3 p.m.
Yeah, so I'll just sneak a listen at work. I'll be at work. Yeah. I'll just slip on the headphones and pretend I'm working. Did I say that?
Yeah. Or you could listen to the podcast so you don't get in trouble.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll do that then. That's probably better.
Yeah. And Thursday, I have Michael Matteo Rossi. He's a director. He's a pretty well-known director. Very young. Award-winning, has written a lot of great movies, and he's just written another one called Misogynist, which is based on a true story. And in his cast is Jonathan Bennett, who us soap fans know as the old JR from All My Children, and Tracy Bregman from The Young and the Restless. And I also have a friend of mine in California over there, my friend Maria. She actually produced the movie, and that's how I found out about it and hooked up. And I was like, okay. So I reached out to the director, writer, Michael, and asked him if he'd be interested, and he said definitely. So we're going to do that. And then Friday, my interview with Rob Bonfiglio, which you just told me that you know through the internet.
Yes, and he's a great guy. and by the way, I'll do this here before Rob gets wind that we're talking about it. I think it's pronounced Bonfiglio, just so you know.
Well, that's what I was going to tell him. Please forgive me if I screw up your name. when you don't talk to a person, you only have to try to figure out how you say their name. You know.
Yes.
So.
And so I've never actually spoken to him, but I've emailed with him a lot. And his album "Bring On the Happy" is such a great power pop album. I actually gave it a Twirly Award on my other show, Twirl Radio.
Really?
It got the award. Yeah, like 3 or 4 years ago, I gave it the Ear Candy Award. That's I always award one album, the Ear Candy Award, where it's that one album where it's so listenable, you can just grab it, and throw it on anywhere during a show in the middle of a set, play any song, and it just sounds good with anything else. It's not necessarily the album of the year, but it's the Ear Candy one, like the most versatile, fun album to listen to. And his album was just that. It's just a great listen.
Definitely, and he now has his new album out, Mea Culpa, and it's just as good, if not even better. I mean, I just absolutely love his music, and have played so many of his songs on my show already, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to this interview as well.
Awesome.
So that's
Please
my
tell him I
week.
said hello.
I'm booked.
You are a busy person, that's for sure.
It just came out of the blue. I mean, there was so many. The summertime is dry as far as for this show is concerned, because the actors in that, take time off to spend with their family, and they go on, vacation and stuff, like, live normal lives or do other events, like they do fan events, or they have other things that they do on the side, like jewelry lines or whatever. And so they're all busy with that kind of stuff. So the summer was pretty dry. And then, boom, all of a sudden, October, I'm like, what? Wait. And then, of course, they all want the same day or the same week.
Yes.
So I've been working very, very hard over this past weekend and getting questions together to get an idea of what I'm going to ask everybody, because normally I wait till the night before to do this, but when you have so many interviews coming up in 1 week, you just have to get a grasp on it and do it, ahead of time. Yeah,
I know what you mean. I've had a ton of interviews that I've done, and they were piling up. I met this really great publicist back east, and he's hooked me up with such interesting artists, and it was kind of like strike while the iron's hot. And he said, I know I'm throwing them at you, but you can always play them back later. And that's what I did. I think within a month I recorded like 8 interviews, and that doesn't include the ones I was doing live on my show. And then I've just been editing them and just putting them on the shows as weeks progress. I'm almost done with that now. That's stuff I've done over the summer. So I know where you're coming from when you're talking about lots and lots of interviews. Which reminds me, I've got one coming up. Have you heard of a gentleman by the name of Richard X. Heyman? His middle name is X.
Doesn't
it's actually
ring a bell.
X. A lot of people haven't. I've heard of him for years, never actually heard his music, but he's kind of like the original indie power pop type of figure. He apparently produced a lot of this stuff for years. He's been around since the 60s, really, but he's done his own work for the last 25 years. So his publicist sent me the album on Friday morning, wee hours in the morning, his latest album. So I just downloaded it to my phone, listened to it at work, loved the technology, and I was so struck by this album. The album is called X, that I listened to it 3 times in a row, and I'm so excited. I'll be interviewing him sometime this week for future airplay, but I just said to him, where's this guy been all my life? And there's so many artists out there that are like that.
Exactly. And some that, were well known back in the day, and then some just new ones, and you just didn't hear about them yet. So let me check this call and see if we maybe have our guest.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Hi, this is Take Two Radio and Pam. Who's calling?
Hey, how's it going? It's Bobby and Michael from the the-planetary-blues-band.
Well, hi, guys. How are you doing?